Let's talk a little bit about hypocrisy, okay? Sometimes I wonder with some of these MAGA folks, of course, across the political spectrum, people engage in hypocritical rhetoric and things to that effect. But I want to focus in on MAGA here because they'll do it in uniquely outrageous ways. And what prompted this segment, because we will do a couple flashback videos, but was this screenshot that Ron Filipkowski posted, saying they really got her this time, referring to Vice President Harris. And the lower third chyron, what they're covering, it's described as Kirsten Kamala loves her swear words. Okay? And I honestly don't know what the context for this was. That's not the important part here. Maybe they're talking about this iconic clip of Vice President Harris. But then we're going to get to something that's prompted my mind, which was Eric Trump some time ago daring to say that it's the other side that levies such nasty rhetoric, the way of the right, and not so much the other way around, and then got mocked for it, of course. But here's maybe what they're referring to with Harris.
What's your favorite curse word?
I can't say it. It starts with an M and it ends with not ER.
Okay, so I think most people see that and find it to be likable, but they're upset about everything now. And it's also hypocritical for them to criticize her for this, given Trump.
So they come up with something that's fake, just like everything else they do. It's all fake. The impeachments are fake. The court cases are a disgrace to our country. Everything is fake. So they come up with this order. I won't say it because I don't like using the word bullshit in front of these beautiful children. So I won't say it. I will not say it. But this thing allows millions of people.
But they're very upset that Vice President Harris may have uttered a curse word. And again, this reminded me of a video that was put together that is brutal for Eric Trump when he said this.
Anchor on CNN called my father a piece of...
That's right. Piece of shh.
Right. Look at that POS comment that you made, right? You might be an opinionated person, but you don't use profanity.
They're going to sue his ass off. Beat the shit out of them. Ripping the shit out of the sea. The son of a bitch. Raise that fucking price. Listen, you motherfuckers.
You're not a child when it comes to calling people names.
Lion Ted. Lion Ted. L-Y-E-N. Little Marco. Crooked Hillary.
I mean, the manners, the lack of morals in society is awful.
Grab him by the pussy.
And honestly, I blame most of these politicians.
I guess I have been a politician.
The way they act are out of control. It's really the worst of the worst, Sean.
And from cafe.com there. So before I play the next one that this brought to my mind, what is that? That's my question, okay? Because I now have dealt with, and I'll show you an example of this, in all the conversation with Trump supporters and all the different just discussions throughout my political life since I got into politics. And you come across this a lot where it seems like the person espousing something that's obviously so hypocritical would know. So then is it purposeful? Is it sort of fun for them to know, I'm levying a criticism that obviously applies better to my side, or in his case, his dad? But it's sort of fun to get away with it. I remember Tucker Carlson would do this where he one time talked about, it just perfectly applied to him. If you put fancy lights and a script and some makeup on someone, they can say any conspiracy theory and you'll believe it. But he was talking about mainstream media and it just perfectly applied. Is there some gratification people are getting? Because otherwise, why would you say something? In the case of Eric Trump, you're going to get mad at the left for deteriorating the quality of our political discussions with name calling when your dad is Donald Trump? What are you talking about? It's so bizarre. And we've seen this with this hypocrisy.
Here's my question. I was just told, I was pounded over the head with a talking point, that the reason the assassination attempt of Trump happened is because people said he was a threat to democracy. Oh my gosh, people correctly identified that he's really bad for democracy. Somehow that caused a deranged person, who was a Republican, by the way, to do something terrible. And I agree it was terrible.
Absolutely.
So now you're saying Kamala Harris is a threat to democracy. Are you not provoking violence?
Kamala Harris is the biggest threat to democracy, yes.
So then by your logic, you're provoking violence.
If that's what it takes, then I guess so.
So most people don't say that. And by the way, you can watch that full video on the channel. It's quite the wild one in Charlotte, North Carolina. But you've heard Trump say, or at least his supporters say, and people really getting passionate about the reason the assassination attempt against Trump happened is because they said he was a threat to democracy. Because they made comparisons to Hitler. Right? So the left's to blame, even if it's a registered Republican who was searching for both Democratic and Republican politicians, and it clearly wasn't a left-wing attack, but it's still the left's fault. And they use that to justify saying they, quote-unquote, they, came after Trump through cases, legal cases. They came after him through impeachments. They came after him through a stolen election, and they came after him by trying to shoot him. What? They? How are that? Is that all the same they? That's crazy. And all that's premised on the idea that how dare they, as I said to this guy, accurately describe that Trump is a threat to democracy. And they say that's what causes them to be to blame for what obviously was a horrific attempt on Trump's life. But then I talked to these Trump supporters, and Trump says the same thing. Not just that Kamala Harris is a threat to democracy, which makes no sense. Did she try to block the peaceful transfer of power like Trump did? No. But he says it as projection, but goes further and says if Harris is elected, the country will be finished. The country will be finished. We heard Tim Pool say our republic would be over. You were just screaming saying that was... People said that calling Trump a fascist provoked the attack. Again, we found out that's not the case, but Trump calls all the left fascists. What? So, again, maybe my thesis in this video is that the calling out of hypocrisy doesn't seem to really work. And maybe that's not the way to expose the dishonesty of some of these people, because they're reveling in the hypocrisy. The majority of people who regularly watch this show aren't subscribed to it. That's kind of crazy, right? If that applies to you, do me a favor and click that subscribe button. Easy, free, but makes all the difference. I appreciate it. Back to the video. Here's an iconic ad that is another example of one of these MAGA folks saying something that they have to know. They have to know is so ridiculous and is setting themselves up to be mocked. But they say it anyways. Why? I need you to tell me why. Here's this.
Now, which Republican official or candidate has ever condoned or in any way encouraged any type of violent assault? Can you start naming them? I can't.
Like to punch him in the face, I'll tell you. Knock the crap out of him.
Maybe he should have been roughed up.
They never name names because they can't.
I want you to watch Nancy Pelosi empty that gun. It'll be hard not to hit her with it, but I will bang it down.
It's a crime punishable by death, is what treason is. Nancy Pelosi is guilty of treason, and we want her out.
They never name names because they can't.
That is a depiction of Representative Gosar carrying swords, attacking Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez.
They never name names.
Let's have trial by combat.
Today is the day American patriots start taking down names and kicking ass.
We will not go quietly into the night.
Striking fear in the hearts of liberals everywhere, folks.
Get on the phone, call your congressman. You can lightly threaten them. I'm coming after you. Madison Cawthorn's coming after you. Everybody's coming after you.
I don't think liberals thought this whole mask thing through. You better believe I'm coming with my Springfield XPS.
The swamp isn't truly drained until we've nailed the hides of the alligators to the wall.
They never name names because they can.
Second term kicks off with firing Ray, firing Fauci. I'd put the heads on pikes, right? I'd put them at the two corners of the White House as a warning.
I said, okay, Lord, let's get right to the violence. That's what I'm going to do. If you don't fight like hell, you're not going to have a country anymore.
Now, which Republican official or candidate has ever condoned or in any way encouraged any type of violent assault? Can you start naming them? I can't.
And this was from Midas Touch. So again, I'm asking, because I don't think most people do they? This might be just far too naive for me, but do they know they're being dishonest and they think the people watching won't look up any of these examples? Because she said it so boldly. Has anyone promoted violence? Yes, that's sort of your whole thing lately. It's crazy. And then there's this from some random MAGA influencer. This is our miscellaneous segment of the day. Just things I wanted to rant about.
I could just smell the cringe that an image like this causes to many of you out there. You know who you are. You folks in the back of the room. You folks who hate this man for no reason that you can explain. I've never heard anybody explain why they hate this man. Even my friends. Nobody can ever explain why they hate him. Have a legitimate reason.
So, first of all, let's not even comment on that painting. Okay? But I just never find myself saying something confidently, knowing that there's the easiest, most humiliating response right back to it, right? Maybe there have been times where someone could think of a way to deliver a knockout blow with some argument against me. But how do you say something like that and be serious? No one's ever explained why they hate Trump? Because he's not even saying in a way that I agree with. He said no one even can cite a reason. Is that real? Am I being duped? Are you doing sarcasm? Am I missing the tone? What do you mean? He lost an election, lied about it, tried to block the peaceful transfer of power, incited a mob to attack the Capitol, and now wants to pardon the people who beat in the faces of police officers? He disparaged veterans as suckers and losers? Questioned the legitimacy of the service of or the hero status of someone who is tortured because they were captured, and he likes people who weren't captured? He mishandled a once-in-a-lifetime crisis, leading to medical professionals around him saying we could have saved hundreds of thousands of lives. 100,000 people could be alive today if he didn't mess it up so bad. He was found in a civil trial to have sexually assaulted a woman. That comes after he was caught on a recording saying he likes to sexually assault people. You said that was just joke, locker room talk. Oh, but then it gets proven in a court of law to actually happen to somebody. Do any of those reasons compel you at all? He's disparaged and divided in ways you could not possibly imagine. He said that the United States Constitution, because of his election lies, should be terminated. That's justified because he wanted to be placed into office. Again, termination being the word he used. He's questioned the legitimacy of the biracial identity of Vice President Harris. He has no major achievements to speak of. His one major legislative achievement was pushing wealth in the direction of the wealthy. He seems wildly, stunningly, shockingly incompetent. He's called the press criminals and said the government should go after the press. I know people think, oh, Luke must be hyperbolic there. The government should come down hard on them in a post where he was talking about MSNBC. By the way, I talked to a Trump supporter in that same rally video and read that post to her, and she said, yeah, okay, I don't know. The press is horrible. he said, as a joke, in quotations, that he wants to be a dictator on day one. He said that the Department of Justice should target his political opponents because he feels wronged by the fact that he's been held accountable legally with no evidence that Biden had any involvement whatsoever. He's really creepy about his daughter. Just throw that in there. No, we can continue going on. My whole show is a show about, or much of my show is a show about these reasons, but crazy he would say that. So there's that. Hypocrisy doesn't matter. Strange self-owns like that don't matter to people, and they just keep chugging along with no introspection. Let me know what you thought of that in the comments. If you want to get extra content daily and support the work we do, you can do so by clicking the join button below.